Hello, friends. It's Ian Boyd, the writer-director for the up-and-coming documentary feature, Being Left-Handed. This is blog number 2 in the series, It's a Right-Handed World. Or is it? The reasonable man adapts to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. George Bernard Shaw. Or in other words, he was primarily talking about the left-handed men or women or the right-handed folks who are also right-brain ones. The one simple thing that creative people understand, or more precisely know, is that things can be changed. As basic as that is, most people don't even consider it. Have you ever watched a movie with someone and you get really angry at the end because the writer chose to write something sad or something else in the story that you didn't like, and the person that you're with can't understand why you're so upset? They'll say something like, well, that's just how it ended, not really considering that the writers and or director could have made it any way that they wanted to. Visionaries are called that because they can see. They look at raw material as an infinite possibility and conjure what they can make of it. Non-creative people don't do that. They constantly refer to what has been done already and consider if what they're doing fits in with it. If it hasn't been done, they simply can't see it because they can't reference it. They copy, alter, and embellish, but don't ever really create anything new. Now, I'm certainly not suggesting that right-handed people living now or in the past are not capable of highly creative thinking and invention. But left-handers just seem to have a proclivity for thinking outside the box. And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy when the world is constantly telling us that we're different and backwards. So we tend to see from an outside perspective, and perhaps a more objective one. Left-handed brains are more symmetrical and more tied together as one through a larger corpus callosum. We see outside the box, and then can immediately switch back to being logical so we can figure out how to make things work in the, quote, real world. It's not that we don't consider what's been done before us, but we're able to sometimes see that what has been done is wrong or maybe not yet finished. So they say it's a right-handed world, but the research that I do, the more I see that this is only on the surface. If we look at the areas that shape our world and ultimately our lives, it becomes fairly obvious that the world has been predominantly shaped by left-handers. If you look at everything from computers to banking, finance, science, film, music, etc., most of the pioneers or the unreasonable men and women that created them are left-handers and are massively overrepresented compared to the 1 out of 11 status in society. And if we don't like where we're going, maybe we need to look at ourselves and see just how much we've contributed to the positive and also the negative. Being left-handed is just like anything else. It can be used for good or evil. It's a sword that cuts both ways, and potentially with great power comes great responsibility. And that can mean intelligence and creativity, especially when it's realized in the material world. Here's a short list by way of example of some of the influence that left-handers have and have had in shaping our world. The Queen of England, whose power is not ceremonial. She is the richest woman on earth, with estimates as high as $32 trillion when you consider all the lands and businesses that she controls. Or other people that are considered some of the richest people in the world. Bill Gates, Michael Bloomberg, Oprah Winfrey, David and John D. Rockefeller, who have monopolized a great deal of the world, Steven Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, Henry Ford, every American president from Reagan through Obama except for George Bush, Benjamin Netanyahu, Tony Abbott of Australia, David Cameron of the UK, Da Vinci, Sir Isaac Newton, Tesla, Einstein, Darwin, Galileo, Benjamin Franklin, Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Aristotle, almost every late-night talk show host, and a huge amount of comedians and actors. Mozart, Beethoven, film directors Christopher Nolan, James Cameron, and Spike Lee, Napoleon, Alexander the Great, and almost every band I look up, the front man is a lefty. So I ask you, is it really a right-handed world, or does it just seem like it on the surface? And why did they really switch lefties into righties when virtually every major language in antiquity is easier, not harder to write with the left hand, which is what we'll be exploring in the next blog. So stay tuned. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And thanks again.